yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe.
What's up, you guys? My name is Lee Johnson, and this is a review of my 2021 Surron X Black Edition. I've had this bike for about 9 or 10 months now, and I've put approximately 900 miles on it, and I'm hoping to give you guys some insight if you're curious about buying a bike like this. I got mine from Luna Cycle up in El Segundo. Everything was great with that process. I didn't have any issues. I'm gonna go through the bike, and what I'm gonna do is kind of grade everything based on what did I expect versus what did I actually get. Was this better than I expected? For example, the suspension, or the brakes, something like that, or the tires, or was it worse than I was expecting just based off of the videos I had seen online? And if you're interested in the range of this thing, I am 6'3", 220 pounds, and I did a video on that. Be sure to check that out. Now, the only thing I have modified on this bike is the handlebars. I decided to get a set of Pro Taper 3-inch risers, and it's been great. It fits awesome. I'm a taller rider, so again, if you have longer arms or you're a taller rider, you're really gonna love this profile, because the ones that come with it stock are almost flat. One issue off the bat that I will say is kind of a disappointment is these tires have worn out really quickly, but I do a lot of road riding, and these are not meant for riding on the street. That's the one kind of weakness I would say. You can't fit much bigger of a tire in there because of the swing arm and the clearance on the chain on this side here. I don't know if you can quite see that, but it's very close. And so you can't go much wider on the tire, but you can go taller. And so the tires I have are a little bit taller, and that kind of gives it a little more profile and pushes it forward up into this housing a little further. Now, the bike has been flawless. I've had 0 issues with it since I got it. No mechanical breakdowns or problems at all. So let's go take a ride, and let's talk about it some more. As soon as this traffic goes, we're out of here. I'm gonna take you guys in some of my favorite trails with this thing. Really got to be careful when the traffic stops like this, because your brakes do not light up as you brake the way a normal motorcycle or vehicle would. So you have to be extra careful. People don't actually realize you're stopping. They'll rear end you. So that's why I don't like really riding in traffic. I try to ride to the side, but it's like, what do? Do you ride in the bike path, or do you ride in the street? Either one. It's like, neither are legal. I've seen a lot of people asking in the comments on other videos what the legality is, and they're pretty much, as far as I know, not really legal. But they're also in a gray area. They're not illegal. Your best bet would be to drive them slowly around a lot of other people and around police, and take it easy. And then when you're in the open, go a little faster. I'm always cautious around these blind corners. You never know, who's going to be there and who's not. Oftentimes I'll go up onto this road here and ride all the way over, which I'm actually going to do right now. So this is a very interesting intersection where the pedestrians have a stop sign, but the cars do not. So they just come flying through here and they don't stop. You gotta be a little careful. Alright, so here we go. Warm up tires a little bit. So it does register on this speedometer as top speed is about 47 miles an hour. I have hit 50 downhill before, but I think that it's off a little, because every time I see it against a street speed sign that shows you your speed, it's always like 2 to 3 miles an hour off, and it's always showing on the bike as 2 miles an hour faster than it does on the sign. So I'm gonna probably take my GPS. I have a speed meter at home. I'm probably gonna hook up to this at some point and get a mount for my phone so that I can see the real-time speed and kind of compare it. So that'll probably be a future video. Stay tuned.
And don't forget to like and subscribe. If you guys are new to the channel, like I said, I've had this Surron for about a year, but I really haven't made too much content with it. I've just been out riding it, and I can tell you it's a blast. At 6'3", 220 pounds, again, I push this suspension hard. I don't do a lot of on-road riding unless I have to get there. I actually prefer to ride off-road. There just aren't a lot of off-road options right next to my house, so I have to ride on the road. So to start things off, the suspension on this thing is actually better than I expected. Everybody was kind of talking smack about the front suspension. The rear suspension is not the best. It does have a piggyback reservoir. I think they held up great. I decided to adjust everything when I first got it and dialed all the suspension in, and it was great. I mean, you have your compression, your rebound on the bottom, and then the back you have a couple of the same compression and rebound settings on the rear spring. So it does great, and depending on where you're sitting on the bike, you know, it has better geometry, I guess you could say. There's kind of a narrow spot to sit on the seat where it's like perfect, but the cool thing is you can slide forward and backwards to get different, you know, effects, like if you want to pop wheelies and whatnot. I'm a bigger dude. I have not changed the sprocket. I have a 60-volt stock battery, so I don't push it too hard as far as wheelies on this thing, but I definitely would like to be able to. It would be fun. So this is a little area I like to kind of hit up for fun every once in a while. Get some jumps in. Might have to take this camera off and give you guys a view of what it looks like first person. A little bit of trash up here. Everyone's kind of partying, you know, getting crazy. So I used to ride 450s in the desert, and when I was young I had a 125 when I was like 18, 2-stroke, and then I got a, you know, 450 4-stroke, and kind of been riding out in the desert, you know, like I said, since I was young. Bunch of areas to ride down there. It's pretty fun. So my favorite brewery is actually right there, Blue Fire. If you guys are interested, check them out, Blue Fire Brewing. I actually did a couple of videos for them on their YouTube channel, so I'll be heading over there at the end of this ride. See if we can get some air. Hey, thanks for sticking with me at this point. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. Most of you who watch these videos don't subscribe, and I understand, but if you could like and subscribe if you appreciate the videos so more people can see it, I'd appreciate it. Alright, let's get back on the road. Go check out some more stuff. Now I know that doesn't look very steep in the video, but I can tell you, it is fairly steep. This hill here is really steep as well. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and go back down to the bike path here. So like I said, whenever I see people, I just try to go a little slower, and most people seem to be okay with it, as long as you're not a total you know what. Alright, so we're gonna go under this bridge and then go up and over it, back into the hills, away from everybody. There's the train. Alright, we're going up this grade right here, up this hill. We're going to check out some fun stuff now. This boring on-road gets us to the off-road, and that's what it's all about. Here we go. So what I love about this Surron is it can go anywhere with, you know, I think it has 8 inches of travel front and rear. I'm a bigger dude. I've ridden dirt bikes before. It's not the same, but it's really good for the weight and for the dexterity that it has. I would say that the rear tire could be bigger. That would be better, but it is what it is. So check out the view. What do you guys think? Pretty amazing if you ask me. And this is why I love riding electric bikes, because you get to see all this amazing stuff that you otherwise would never see. This is not available in a car. You have to take foot or, you know, bike up here. Just gonna take a stop real quick right here. It's a cool trail. You have the option to take dirt or paved. So I love taking my bike out here. Back on the road here. So, that being said, tires. You know, they're not bad tires in my opinion for what they are. But they could be better, bigger, and last longer. That being said, you shouldn't be riding these types of tires on asphalt like I'm doing. The suspension I thought was better than expected. I had no problems. Knock on wood, I have not had any flats with these tires either. So wheels and suspension, not bad. I do need to check my spokes because I've heard that over a period of time they will start to loosen up. And you got to keep the eye on those. So there's a bunch of trails you can take that go up towards that P, which stands for Palomar. It's a community college over here. And there's some trails you can take that go up onto that hill. But they're really steep with huge boulders and rocks. If we have time, we'll go down that way. But so other than that, I have not had any issues. I have not had any spoke issues. Now, as far as brakes, the hydraulic system is great. The brake pads that are stock suck. They squeak. They do warm up, and they are a little better once they warm up, as most brakes do. But for what it is, I'd rather have better brakes on this thing. I mean, I'm flying here, you know, 40 miles an hour or so down this hill, and I need to have good stopping power. So say I needed to stop, I'm very quickly going to lose traction. So a lot of that was slide. Now granted, my tire is bald in the back, and so, you know, we are off-road, but they're okay. They do stop the bike. If I put new pads on here, I've heard if you put Shimano's on there, you have no problems. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit this little hit right here. There we go. But yeah, I've heard if you do that, it definitely makes it a little better. So keep an eye out for that as an upgrade here shortly for this bike. But so brakes, you know, system great, pads not that great. Motor excellent, no issues. As far as the belts, when I first got the bike, I think it had about 50 miles or so on it. I think it took it some dust probably is what did it, but it started squeaking really bad on the belt, almost squealing, like tiny little screeches and squeals. And it did that for about, I would say, a battery or two, and then once that had been worked out after like a battery or two, it went away. So I saw online the same thing happened to a guy. He called it I think he might have been from a different country, but his interesting description, it was sounded like 1,000 little screams. That's exactly what it sounds like little like squeaks just coming from the motor. And so anyways, if you have that happen, just, you know, run it for a little bit longer, and I think it's just a break-in period. So that being said, with the motor's great. Battery, excellent stock battery, 60 volt system. I believe it's 32 amp hours. You know, it does good. With my weight and height at 6'3", 220 pounds, it can go for about an hour at full throttle or so, 45 minutes at full throttle the whole time. And it'll take you about 20 to 22 miles for a guy like my size, which is fine. And if you go slower, it'll definitely go 25. You know, 22 to 25 probably if you're going in like eco mode, maybe even further. So this is a development here. I used to be able to ride all of this stuff, and then they came in and cleared everything, which kind of bummed me out. But, you know, I am a real estate agent, so I jokingly say, well, thanks for making more houses for me to sell, guys. But You know, they've been building houses here. They got the model homes in already and building a few up on those pads. I've actually taken this and gone up around on the weekend when nobody's here and down through onto those pads and up top to the very top pads, which is really cool, and taking those trails around. I used to be able to ride through all this. Now it's being developed. It's kind of a bummer. You know, they enforce it. They put these rocks here to try to keep you out, which I understand. You know, it's a new neighborhood and stuff, but really disappoints me because I used to be able to have a lot of riding back here. Now I got to go further. But the cool thing is I'm going to show you guys some awesome areas over here as I talk a little more about this bike. But anyways, yeah, the battery's great. I wish I had a 72 volt battery. I wish there was a little more amp hours in there. I wish they would make a bigger version. I know some companies do. I think Lightspeed makes, I know they make a 72 volt battery. And with the higher voltage, you get more watt hours. I don't know if you guys have heard any other YouTubers talking about this, but the feeling like your tire is going flat. Now I know my tread is almost gone, but I definitely feel like I'm riding on a tube more than I'm riding on a tire at this point. And with the suspension, it is kind of soft and plushy, and I tend to ride back a little further because I'm so big that you know, it has a little bit of a bounce, which I could take out with the rebound, but it does have that kind of feel, like that soft feel, which is just nice, you know. And I ride a hardtail. I ride a Rad Rover most of the time before I got this, and it was great. But you know, I always was bending spoke trying to off-road and do crazy stuff with it, so it just wasn't worth it.